Let me begin with something many people don't realize. Not every supplement that's sold as healthy is safe for everyone. In fact, some of the most common vitamins that people take daily, thinking they're preventing disease, may actually increase the risk of stroke when taken incorrectly or excessively. I know that's a confronting statement, but I say it not to scare you, but to help you protect your health and potentially even save your life. Over the years, I've spoken with thousands of people who have turned to natural remedies and nutritional supplements as a way to heal their bodies, and that's a good thing. The problem isn't the intention, it's the lack of full understanding about what these supplements can do inside the body when taken out of balance. You see, nature provides nutrients in a very specific way, within whole foods, buffered by fiber, enzymes, minerals, and other synergistic compounds that keep everything in check. But when we isolate one vitamin, extract it from its natural context, and then take high doses of it every single day, we can create an internal imbalance that leads to real health problems. One of the most serious and underreported outcomes of this imbalance is an increased risk of stroke, especially ischemic stroke, which occurs when blood clots block blood flow to the brain. Many people don't know this, but certain vitamins can increase clotting factors in the blood, thicken the blood, or interfere with natural circulation. And when these vitamins are taken without medical guidance or in combination with poor diet and dehydration, the risk rises sharply. Let's be honest, most people don't check their blood viscosity. Most people don't know whether their supplement is synthetic or whole food derived. And most people have no idea that the very pill they're swallowing every morning because they heard it was good for energy or good for bones may actually be putting them at risk of a life-altering stroke. I've seen the aftermath of these choices. People with sudden dizziness, vision changes, slurred speech, numbness in their limbs, and it's only after digging deep into their lifestyle that we discover they've been unknowingly overloading their bodies with isolated nutrients that disrupted their vascular system. That's why today's video is so important, because we're going to uncover the 4 specific vitamins that can silently damage your blood vessels, disrupt your circulation, and even trigger a stroke if taken the wrong way. These are vitamins you probably have in your cupboard right now. And unless you're deeply educated about nutrient timing, dosage, and balance, you may be taking them in a way that does more harm than good. So stay with me as I walk you through each of these vitamins. I'll explain exactly how they affect your body, the signs of overdose or imbalance you need to watch for, and most importantly, what you can do instead to support your health naturally and safely. Your brain is one of the most delicate and powerful organs you have. A single clot, a blocked vessel, or an inflammation spike can change your life in seconds. And no vitamin, no matter how popular or widely sold, is worth that risk if you're not using it properly. Number 1, vitamin B12. Now let's talk about vitamin B12, a nutrient that's essential for nerve function, energy production, and red blood cell formation. I've recommended B12 many times for people with fatigue, memory issues, or neurological concerns, especially as they age. But here's what most people don't know. When B12 is taken in excessively high doses, especially in the form of injections or isolated synthetic supplements, it can increase blood viscosity, contributing to the risk of blood clots and stroke. This risk is especially true for people who already have underlying conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or thick blood due to dehydration or poor diet. B12 stimulates red blood cell production, but more red blood cells in circulation means your blood can get thicker. And thick blood doesn't flow easily. It moves slowly, it puts more pressure on your heart, and it can lead to clot formation, especially in the brain and legs. Many people are prescribed or self-administering B12 injections weekly or monthly without ever monitoring their blood thickness or methylation status. Some are taking 1,000 micrograms or more daily in supplement form, thinking it's harmless because B12 is water-soluble. But just because something is water-soluble doesn't mean it's always safe in excess, especially when your body is already in a state of stress or inflammation. And another concern is that synthetic cyanocobalamin, the most common form of B12 found in cheap supplements, requires detoxification through the liver. And for those with sluggish detox pathways or methylation imbalances, it may not be well processed. This creates a buildup of unmetabolized B12, which again contributes to blood and vascular issues. And I'm not saying don't take B12, but it should be taken carefully, ideally in the form of methylcobalamin, and only when truly needed based on a blood test showing deficiency. More is not better when it comes to this vitamin, and certainly not when you're injecting it routinely or stacking it with multivitamins, energy drinks, or wellness shots that already contain it. If you've been experiencing symptoms like numbness, tingling, heavy legs, blurry vision, or dizziness, and you've been using B12 regularly, it may be time to reassess whether you're creating more harm than healing. The bottom line is, B12 is a powerful nutrient, but it's not one to use blindly. When your blood gets too thick, oxygen and nutrients can't reach the brain or extremities properly, and that's when the risk of stroke becomes dangerously real. Number 2, vitamin E. Let's now turn to vitamin E, often praised as an antioxidant hero. It's known for protecting cells, supporting heart health, and improving skin elasticity. Many people, especially older adults, are drawn to vitamin E because of its anti-aging reputation. But what most don't realize is that high-dose vitamin E supplementation, particularly in synthetic forms, can dramatically increase the risk of stroke, especially hemorrhagic stroke, which involves bleeding in the brain. Why does this happen? Vitamin E is a natural blood thinner. In small amounts from food like sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach, and avocados, it's incredibly beneficial. But when taken in high doses, especially over long periods, it can interfere with platelet aggregation and clotting function, making you prone to internal bleeding, including in delicate areas like the brain. The danger escalates when people are already taking blood-thinning medications like aspirin, warfarin, or even herbal blood thinners like ginkgo or garlic. Combining these with high-dose vitamin E supplements can tip the body into a dangerous imbalance. It's like pulling the brakes too hard on your body's natural clotting mechanism. Another issue is the form of vitamin E you're taking. Most over-the-counter supplements use only one form, alpha-tocopherol, while there are actually 8 different forms of vitamin E, including tocotrienols. An excess of one form without the others can cause an imbalance in antioxidant activity and even inhibit absorption of other fat-soluble vitamins like A and K, both of which are crucial for proper blood clotting and vessel integrity. Studies have shown that doses above 400 IU per day can increase the risk of hemorrhagic stroke by up to 22%, especially in people over 60. That's a significant number, and yet many popular supplements contain 1,000 IU or more per capsule, marketed under the idea that more is better. So while vitamin E is essential for health, we should aim to get it from whole food sources, not high-potency pills. A handful of almonds, some olive oil, a bit of spinach in your smoothie, that's the kind of vitamin E your body knows what to do with. But isolating and mega-dosing this vitamin, that can tip the delicate scales in your bloodstream and open the door to devastating consequences. In our rush to stay healthy, we sometimes forget that balance, not extremes, is the key to vitality. And with vitamin E, less is often more, especially when your goal is to protect your heart and your brain, not put them at risk. Number 3, vitamin A. Now, let's talk about vitamin A, an essential nutrient, but one that can quickly become harmful when taken in the wrong form or in excessive amounts. I've seen many people unknowingly harm themselves by taking high-dose vitamin A supplements, thinking they're doing something good for their eyes, skin, or immune system. But the truth is, when it comes to vitamin A, more is not always better. In fact, too much can quietly lead you towards serious health complications, including stroke. Vitamin A exists in 2 primary forms. Preformed vitamin A, retinol, which comes from animal sources and supplements, and provitamin A carotenoids, like beta-carotene, which are found in colorful fruits and vegetables. The body regulates how much it converts from beta-carotene based on what it needs, making it a much safer source. But preformed vitamin A, especially in synthetic form from supplements, is absorbed directly, and that's where the danger lies. When preformed vitamin A builds up in the body, it becomes toxic to the liver and nervous system. The liver is where vitamin A is stored, and when it's overwhelmed by constant high doses, it starts to break down. And since your liver is deeply connected to your blood flow, clotting factors, and cholesterol balance, its dysfunction can increase stroke risk, particularly hemorrhagic stroke, which occurs when blood vessels rupture. I've seen this especially in older adults who take high-dose multivitamins or separate vitamin A supplements daily for years. Symptoms of toxicity, like blurred vision, dizziness, bone pain, or fatigue, are often ignored until something serious happens. The scariest part is that you might not even realize your stroke risk is increasing with each passing day. So what's the alternative? Get your vitamin A from food, not from a pill. Think of carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, kale, pumpkin, and red peppers, all rich in beta-carotene. These colorful foods are safe, balanced by nature, and converted gently in your body without the risk of toxicity. Your skin, eyes, and immune system will benefit greatly, and you won't be putting unnecessary pressure on your liver or blood vessels. If there is ever a medical need to supplement vitamin A, it must be done under professional supervision, using carefully measured doses, and only for a short period. Otherwise, for everyday health and especially stroke prevention, skip the synthetic preformed vitamin A and go natural. Number 4, vitamin B9. Let me talk to you about something that seems harmless, folic acid, but can quietly become a serious risk, especially as we age. Folic acid is the synthetic form of vitamin B9, and while it's often praised for its benefits during pregnancy and general health, most people don't realize that the synthetic version, used in supplements and fortified foods, doesn't behave the same way as the natural folate found in whole foods. You see, our bodies were designed to recognize nutrients in their natural whole form. Folate, which is the real version of vitamin B9, is found in leafy greens, avocados, beets, and lentils. When we consume these, our bodies know exactly what to do: absorb, process, and use them for important functions like DNA repair, red blood cell production, and nervous system support. But synthetic folic acid is different. It's cheaper to produce and more stable for shelf life. So it's added to almost every processed grain product, your breakfast cereals, breads, pasta, snack bars, you name it. And it's this overexposure that begins to create a hidden problem. Here's why. Not everyone can process folic acid efficiently. In fact, a large percentage of the population has a genetic variation that reduces the ability to convert synthetic folic acid into the usable form methylfolate. When this happens, unmetabolized folic acid builds up in the bloodstream, and over time, this can disrupt methylation, impair detoxification, and even contribute to inflammation and cardiovascular issues. Recent studies have linked high levels of synthetic folic acid in the blood with an increased risk of stroke, especially in people over 50. The body treats this excess like a toxin. It interferes with normal blood flow, impairs immune function, and can mask vitamin B12 deficiency, which is already common in older adults and itself a major risk factor for neurological damage. So what can we do instead? I always recommend focusing on natural folate sources. That means making room on your plate for dark leafy greens, broccoli, asparagus, liver, chickpeas, and citrus fruits. These foods give you folate in its most active, bioavailable form without the side effects. And if you need a supplement, especially for specific conditions or deficiencies, always choose methylfolate, sometimes labeled as 5-MTHF. It's the form your body uses directly, no conversion needed, and it's much safer and more effective than folic acid. Remember, it's not about avoiding vitamin B9 altogether. It's about choosing the right form that supports your body, not one that silently builds up and increases your risk of serious health problems like stroke. Now that we've uncovered the dangers of excessive vitamin E, vitamin B6, B9, and preformed vitamin A, the big question remains: what can you do to protect yourself naturally without compromising your health? The truth is, your body doesn't need megadoses or synthetic forms of vitamins to thrive. It needs balance, nourishment from real food, and an understanding of what actually supports long-term vitality. When it comes to your brain, heart, and circulatory system, especially if you're over 50, the best form of protection comes from a whole food-based approach. Instead of relying on synthetic vitamins that isolate one compound and deliver it in large quantities, look to your plate. Nature has already packaged these nutrients in their safest, most absorbable and balanced forms. For vitamin E, instead of taking capsules, opt for a mix of seeds and nuts. Sunflower seeds, almonds, and hazelnuts are fantastic. Pair them with dark leafy greens and even a little olive oil, and your body will receive this antioxidant in a safe, synergistic way that won't damage your blood's clotting balance. For vitamin B6, you only need small amounts to meet your daily needs. Include foods like bananas, avocados, chickpeas, and salmon in your meals a few times a week. That's enough. You don't need pills that deliver hundreds of % of the daily value. Those can disrupt your nervous system, but food never will when consumed in moderation. And for vitamin A, forget the synthetic retinol supplements unless they're medically prescribed. Get your daily intake from colorful plant foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, and pumpkin. These are loaded with beta-carotene, which your body converts naturally and safely into the vitamin A it needs. No risk of liver overload, no risk of stroke. Most importantly, listen to your body. If you're already taking multiple supplements and you've been feeling off, whether it's tingling, dizziness, muscle weakness, or fatigue, take that as a sign to reevaluate your supplement routine. Many symptoms are your body trying to tell you it's overwhelmed. Sometimes the answer isn't to add more, but to take something out. I always encourage people to work with their natural physiology, not against it. That means embracing simplicity, eating real food, staying hydrated, and understanding that more isn't better. Smarter is better. And when you focus on real nourishment, you'll not only protect your brain and heart, you'll also feel more balanced, more grounded, and more alive.